Hello and welcome to this special broadcast on International Women's Day. So, I thought I'd show up today with a special message. And you know what's so powerful? Is that just this weekend, I led a beautiful group of women into a space to reconnect with and awaken the sacred feminine. Now, wherever you are in the world, happy International Women's Day. Did you know that International Women's Day is celebrated annually on this day? And it started all the way actually in the 1900s. And then around 1975, the UN got involved, so it became a bit more prominent. But it started in the 1900s, as early as 1908, in the first march that had occurred in the US. I think it was in New York. So today is all about commemorating the social, political, and economic achievements of women. Women in different parts of the world apparently use this day to come together to celebrate one another and rally for equal treatment and representation. Now, just think about this. Women come together not just to celebrate, but to rally for equal treatment and representation. And where are we today? We are in 2022. And we're still faced with women having to rally around, women having to demand equal treatment and representation. We can understand where we came from. But we have to make a choice about where we want to go to. You see, this whole movement with women around the world started with women wanting to have a voice, to be heard, to be seen, to show up in whatever industry they chose to show up in, to do whatever they want to do. Now, I'm not saying to you anything that you don't know, but when I think about the path, the journey, the road that women have walked on, and we come to 2022 and we're still having a situation where women have to demand to be in an equal footing, to be treated fairly, because that's what it is ultimately. We're being asked to be treated fairly. Now, what if there was another way? What if the way of the past isn't working because it came from a spirit of fighting for our rights? What if there is a different way? And that is exactly what we were doing this past weekend with a beautiful group of women that came together, and we spent time understanding what the sacred feminine is and the way of the sacred feminine. You see, it is that forgotten part. It is that rejected and abandoned part of all women. Even though we've been on the journey, we still haven't tapped or fully understood how to reconnect with and awaken that part within us. Because you see, the sacred feminine is an energy. It's not a person, but it's a way. For me, it's a way of being. And I guess when I sit here today on the 8th of March, 2022, I realize that there's a new way emerging. There's a softer, kinder, compassionate way to do things. And even as women, yes, we are strong, we are powerful, we are fierce. But there's a kinder way to do things. There's a kinder way to show up in the world. There's a kinder way to be. And yes, we are the ones in the female body who are being asked to step forward so powerfully. So whilst I was preparing for this workshop, and for those of you who know me, you know that my mission has been to fulfill Nelson Mandela's legacy, to build the country of our dreams. And then I extended it to build the world of our dreams, together with all the other amazing people on this planet who are on the same journey. But over the last 2 weeks, as the workshop, Awakening the Sacred Feminine, was coming closer and closer, I was reminded that the legacy that I'm here to fulfill is the legacy of the women who took to march to the Union Building on the 9th of August 1956. It's the legacy of those 20,000 or so women who actually marched to the Union Building. And there was approximately 100,000 of them that were attempting to get to the Union Building from all over the country, and they didn't. Women of every race, every social standing came together, every type of cultural background came together. Women stood together. You see, it's not all the women that were affected by the past laws that were wanting to be imposed on women at that time, but all the women stood together. They stood there as one. They stood there with one voice. And it's those women, it's their legacy that I'm going forward with. And I'm sure it doesn't matter which country you are in, that there are women in your country. And I want us to focus on the women from the past, the women who have come along, the women who did not go into public office, the women who are not standing on those stages or who are currently standing on those stages around the world. I'm talking about the women who have been in the background. I'm talking about those women whose names don't get mentioned when we speak about the historic events. I'm talking about the other 80,000 women who participated in the march in 1956, but they couldn't get to the actual march. I'm talking about those women as well. I'm talking about those 20,000 women who were there, those whose names nobody remembered, but they took trains to get from as far away as Cape Town and Port Elizabeth to get all the way to Pretoria. I'm talking about those women who came to Pretoria with babies, and we're talking about 1956 here. We're talking about the 1900s when the women in Russia protested, the early 1900s when they protested for bread. We're talking about those women whose names have not been recorded anywhere that all of us have access to it. We're talking about those women currently in this day and age who also exist. But because they aren't posting on Instagram every single day, they are overlooked. I'm talking about those women. I'm talking about the women who hold the light for us even when we don't know. And I'm asking all of you out there who are receiving this message today, I'm asking you to be the light. You see, whatever's been tried up until now, even under the wise guidance of the United Nations and various other organizations, It hasn't worked because they've been looking for the answers in the wrong places. You see, women are the answer to a better, brighter world. And until we can fully accept that, or better still, until we can first acknowledge that, then only can we accept that. And only after we accept that will we be willing to take the next aligned steps. So you know the history of women, or maybe you don't. Maybe it's time you were reminded of the journey women have come. It started many, many, many thousands of years ago. And that's what we did in my workshop. We looked at where we came from. We looked at how we respond every day in our lives. We look at how we choose to show up in the world. We looked at what is required from us right now to move forward. You see, it's in the woman's nature, it's in the feminine nature to choose love over war, to choose peace, to nurture, to care for, to bring joy, to bring beauty into a space. And it's important for men to hear this as well. Because until we allow ourselves to be in that space, to be in a kinder space as women, there is going to be chaos in the world. And that's what I love about the Baha'i teaching. I love the fact that they describe the masculine and the feminine as the two wings of a bird. That until one is as strong as the other, that bird wouldn't be able to fly properly. You see, it's not about pushing one out of the way. It's not about fighting for what it is that we want. It's about claiming it. It's about finding our voice. It's about allowing our light to shine. So until we as women first choose to shine our light in our own homes, in our own space, then only can it go into our country, into our communities, into our country, and then into the world. Just imagine this. Imagine this. Each woman lighting up in different parts of the world. Imagine having this external vision or having this view of a map and you see the light lighting up. Imagine how beautiful it'll be. It'll be like fairy lights lighting up. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. That the time has come. The time has come for you to first understand yourself as a woman. To first understand, why do you get angry? Why do you give so much? Why do you deplete your energy? What your role is in us going forward, in us making this world a better, brighter place for all of us. We cannot live as if who we are as an individual is not having an impact on everything around us. We have to take our rightful places, like the Baha'i teaching says. We have to take our rightful place at the table. We each, as women, have a gift, have a skill, have a talent, and we complement our male counterparts. We aren't here to be more forceful, more powerful, but we are here to claim what is rightfully ours. And if you look around the world, As much as there's well-meaning men around the world, loving, kind, generous, they have been conditioned to be who they are. They have grown up in a world where they've been told that women come second, that women are less than. And as much as intellectually they know that this is not so, it's in the cells of their body. It's been passed on to them year after year, generation after generation. So we, as the women, have to educate them. And this is another aspect of the Baha'i teachings that I love. They speak about where a situation where a family has a son and a daughter, and if the family only has money to send one child to school or to university, that the choice must be to send the girl, the daughter, to school or university, because it is believed that when you educate a woman, you educate an entire family, an entire community, an entire nation. You educate the entire world, because that's how valuable the female is, a woman is in the world. So if you've ever been wondering why, with all the resources in the world, with all the intelligent, smart people in the world, why is it that we're sitting in 2022 and we're still in a place where women are rallying for equal representation? Why? It's because there's a new way emerging, and that way has not been honored, it's not been revered, it's not been accepted by mainstream society, because it seems so simple. And you know what people think? If it's simple, oh, it can't be valuable. Now just think about that. Women have been regarded as less valuable, as not a treasure for such a long time. Do we want to perpetuate that as women? And as women, we're being asked to acknowledge every woman that's been instrumental in who we are today, the fabulous woman that we are today. That is why I said, I am because of you. I would not be here today were it not for all the fabulous women that have guided me, that have shown me who I am. And today, this is the message I want to share with you. Until we are willing to be the light, we're not going to be able to have light in the world. Wars are going to continue. All the chaos in the world is going to continue. We have to choose to be the light. And I'm reminded about the beautiful Hindu practice that when a woman gets married, her mother gives her a lamp. And she's being given the lamp because she's being asked to take the goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of prosperity and light and well-being and wellness and beauty and all things good into her home. And she's reminded that she has to light that lamp in the morning and she has to light that lamp in the evening, because she brings light into her home in the morning and she sends that with her family. And in the evening, she brings light into her home, spreading the goodness to everyone in her home and out into the world, and welcoming prosperity and safety for her and her family. Now, whether you follow the Hindu tradition or not, it's important for each woman to acknowledge this light within them and to do some kind of practice, because this is what it is. Women love rituals of some kind. So how about making it significant? Even if you're a Hindu woman and you have been lighting the lamp, Reconnect to why you light the lamp. Do it from a place of empowerment. Do it from a place of understanding. And like I said in a post earlier today, be the light in your home, in your country, and in the world. Because you see, it's because of you this world is better and brighter. And until we are willing to let the light shine wherever we go, well, the world's going to be a dark place. So what are you going to choose? And yes, like I said, there's a softer, kinder, strong, powerful way to do this. But no, we aren't going to go breaking down doors, burning down things. We're going to be like those women of 1956, those South African women. You know, when they stood in front of the Union building and President Stratham did not come out or nobody was responding to them, do you know what they did? Even though they had little babies and children on their backs and in their arms and at their sides, they stood, all of them. Now, just imagine this. Approximately 20,000 women standing with children amongst them. For 30 minutes, approximately 30 minutes, they stood in absolute silence. Can you just picture that? Can you picture what that sight would be like? Can you imagine today, 20,000 women standing there with children and, you know, everybody together in their traditional garb, all standing there, and there's absolute silence. For me, the reason why that march was a success is because they practiced something so profound. They showed an essence of the sacred feminine and what can be achieved in absolute stillness. So if you want to know what is one of the essence of the sacred feminine, it is her stillness. Because the answers, the solutions come in that stillness. So today, I am celebrating every woman who participated or was part of that 1956 march in South Africa. And I'm celebrating every woman across the world, whether it was Harriet in the US, whether it was Rosa Parks. It doesn't matter. Was it Harriet Tubman? Whether it was Mother Teresa who decided to go and do something for the homeless in India, in Calcutta. Whether it's Benazir Bhutto who chose to stand up, or Indira Gandhi. Whether it was Amelia Earhart. It doesn't matter who, but every woman that we know of that have been in the history books and every other woman whose names do not appear in the history books or do not appear in any significant material around the world. But every woman who stood up for us, be it our mothers, our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers, but from the origin of women, wherever she may have existed around the world, that's who I'm celebrating today. And I'm going forward with their legacy, every single one of them across the world. And I'm committing to shining my light every single day in my home. Because until I can bring peace in my home, I cannot ripple that out into the world. So will you join me? Will you join me? Let's start a new movement. It doesn't matter what you use. Everyone's got candles in their homes, right? Light a candle every morning to commemorate the light within you, to commemorate the light that has been passed onto you and send that light out into the world to every woman. And in the evening, do the same. And whilst you're doing that, send that light to your family. Send that light to your loved ones. Send that light to your neighbors, your co-workers. Send that light out into the world. Because there's a new way of being, and it's the way of the sacred feminine. She's powerful. She's loving. She's generous. She's courageous. And she's ready to show up through you. So let this not just be another International Women's Day. Let's go out and show the world how it's really done, how peace can be achieved. And yes, it's going to take some work, but together we are strong. And I want you to have that image. Wherever you are in the world, you may have your own stories locally, but if you don't, borrow the image from us here in South Africa. Borrow the image of these brave, courageous women, these powerful women who said no, who said, when you strike a woman, you're striking a rock. And you better be prepared to die. That's how it was said then, right? I'm just interpreting the phrase that was used at that time. But it said that when you strike a woman, you strike a rock. Because at that time, they were protesting the fact that women had to carry a pass. And women said no. So how about standing up today? Instead of keep rallying every single year for equal rights, how about us choosing to be the light instead? Because wherever the light goes, darkness can no longer exist. So if you're ready to do this life, if you're ready to show up with the frequency of the sacred feminine, then make that choice today. Make that decision today. Be bold, be brave, no matter what's going on in your life. Your voice is ready to be heard. You are ready to be seen. But it's in this new way. So if you're ready, then say yes. Say yes, and the doors will open up for you to show up that way. Let's fill this world with love. Let's fill this world with light. Let's fill this world with peace and unity. Let's fill this world with prosperity. Let's bring the goddess into our hearts, into our homes, into our lives. Let's bring the goddess back into the world. Let's do this together. I am because of you. So I salute the goddess within you. I honor the goddess within you, and I honor the goddess within me. And to men out there, support the woman in your life. If you want your life to be better, if you want to create the successes and abundance that you want to in your life, honor the woman in your life. Honor her for who she really is. Remind her of how strong and powerful and beautiful and magnificent and fabulous she is. Because this journey requires both wings. So I thought I'll pop in and share this message with you and let you enjoy the rest of your day, whatever time it may be for you. But I want you to feel this in your heart. You are the light. Be the light. Embrace the light and share that light. So, until next time, ciao for now.